When we fiercely identify with the body, our sense of beingness takes on the size and dimensions of our body. Can you see this? When you realize that it is this principle that underlies all the functions of not only this body, but of all other bodies as they move through time and space, interrelating with each other, you will see that all actions, interactions, and reactions are taking place spontaneously and are being perceived spontaneously. And when the question arises, can the witness of all this be itself witnessed? And that question is allowed to simply happen, and if there is some response to take place, it is not a response of a person carrying out some advice. It simply happens spontaneously. Then, intuitively and spontaneously, you will feel your own being as infinite space, infinite expanse. It is not an experience that you are having. You will not be able to find where there is the you and where there is the space. There are no concepts drawing lines between them. It is synonymous with your own being. You don't need any help. We don't need to call a cab to take you home. You can handle this. You can do all things. Sometimes we imagine that this sense of losing control or losing our identity will amount to us walking out in the street, bumping into trees, and all sorts of nonsense. This is a creation of the mind. Now find out for yourself how it is as you are right now. Only watch that the idea of I, just keep watching it. When it goes, as it's used to doing out of habit, into a personal modification, you will find that your experience is more struggling. If you definitely see yourself as an I, this body, then you will definitely see other bodies as different I's. And there may be conflict, friendships. You will be in some energetic interactions with other beings. When the sense of I arises, see I as consciousness, universal, and taste the difference. I is synonymous and identical with consciousness. Your name, George, Harry, Samantha, has to do with your body-mind identification. But your I is consciousness. The I am principle is the godly principle inside this body. I am is your God and your own self. It is not an object. I am itself is like the aperture through which the infinite can perceive manifestation. It is the absolute which is portraying itself through consciousness as I. How amazing that the one I is shining as the absolute, as conscious presence, and as egoity. What is truly meant by surrender to God? To answer this question, we must delve into the three key elements: surrender, God, and what we surrender to Him. Surrender, in its ordinary sense, signifies letting go, relinquishing, putting down one's arms, defenses, and any sense of alienation. When viewed through the lens of love, surrender becomes an act of offering oneself to another, merging into them, and dissolving any sense of separation, distance, or difference. This leads us to the question of what we mean by God. In Advaita Vedanta philosophy, God is not an external entity. Instead, we surrender to our true selves, the essence that we already are but have lost touch with due to ignorance. The reason for this disconnection is the defense mechanisms we've created, known as the ego. These mechanisms have alienated us from others and inevitably from our true selves. To bridge this gap, we must dismantle these ego defenses and the perceptual filters that keep out knowledge that is unbearable to the ego. Even bliss and love are too much for the ego to bear. Therefore, surrender involves an internal letting go of our defenses against a power, love, and energy so profound that it overwhelms the ego. It's an act of relinquishing our evasion of the presence, intelligence, and power of our true selves, allowing them to dissolve the ego in the flow of divine love. To achieve this profound surrender, we must possess both immense desire and a detachment from worldly desires. We must let go of the crutches we've used to substitute for God, whether they're material possessions, relationships, or even self-destructive behaviors. We must open ourselves to the real power within us, which means transcending the egoic mind and its self-limiting thoughts. This process demands unwavering faith, a belief that surrendering to the ego will lead to something infinitely greater than what we're letting go of. As we surrender more, we receive glimpses of the supreme reality, strengthening our faith. Even with a small amount of faith, we can embark on this journey, gradually renouncing ego-driven pleasures and suffering until we wholeheartedly embrace the bliss. By meditating with this intention, we become more aligned with yoga, the path of union with our true selves. With consistent practice, we become firmly established in the state of yoga. It's not just a temporary or intermittent phenomenon. We have established ourselves there through a rigorous and disciplined practice of continual remembrance of the presence of God as our true self. In that act of turning the mind toward the supreme presence, the qualities of that presence will begin to manifest in more and more palpable ways. The first that comes is usually a sense of peacefulness and serenity. This allows the heart to open, relax, and allow the love to flow. What we thought of as our own human love, we will gradually realize is divine love, and that there is not a human source. This human organism is only a vehicle of the source. Once it is realized that the body-mind we took to be our self is really only a vehicle of a higher self, then we will also have the margin of vulnerability and fearlessness to be able to see the supreme self in every other being. Therefore, we will not be competitive, nor in conflict, nor in danger. We will not be in any sense of either fear or desire, because we already have that within as well as without. We can see the beauty, the divine beauty, in each being and see it without any sense of envy, without any sense of needing to be one up on such a being or to feel one down anything else. Because if the surrender is only internal but cannot be made externally in terms of generosity of spirit, nobility and selflessness in action toward others, toward a community, towards building the most beautiful life, and communion with all forms of life, with all of nature as well as with other humans, to restore the earth to its pristine beauty, then we have not completed that surrender, so it requires karma yoga, the selfless service, that is all performed in this state of inner silence and oneness with all of nature, with all humans, with all discarnate beings, with the universe as a whole, and that infinite transfinite intelligence and presence that encompasses and transcends the universe, and all the while a recognition, a humble recognition that we are that, and that's what brings the bliss. And all of that is available in every moment, including this moment. So when we meditate now, don't create any thoughts that such a state is years away or lifetimes away. If you desire it now, it will be given now, because you are the one who both gives it and receives it. There are no obstacles between you and God, except those you put up. And if you're willing to take them down, and you have the power to take them down, and the right to take them down, there is nothing that can interfere with achieving the most beautiful and blessed realization of God here and now. If we are studying the art of fasting, it is very important that you do not believe that fasting has anything to do with refraining from eating food. The only real fasting is to refuse to feed on delusion. Any other fasting may be helpful for the body, maybe not, but the real key to transcend delusion is to refuse to feed off of its emotional remains, like anger, neediness, insecurity, hatred, and all those negative emotions.